going on, guys? This is DJClanSmasher, and today I'm bringing you an episode full of mix attacks. Pretty much what I'm bringing you is a 2 10v11s, and then I'm going to bring you a bunch of 11v10s, pretty much a lot of dip attacks, and it's going to be pretty interesting, especially for those of you that are doing regular wars. You know, you'll see some ring bases, and sometimes those can get a little annoying, and I know some people can get frustrated, especially 11v10s. Kind of difficult to dip, so this is going to be great for you, especially to check those kinds of attacks out. And then I'll be showing you a last 10v10, so that's how we'll go ahead and end this this recap. So before I begin, I just want to let you know, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I have a lot of great content that you can check out, and one of the ones that I really like to do and hope to bring more in the series is Plan and Smash. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. So anyways, guys, Clash with Ash, playing against Melayu clans, and kind of difficult to say. Anyways, what I found interesting was that they've existed longer than Clash of Clans, guys. 831.57. Heck yeah. So very interesting, very tough war, because you know they've been here for a lot longer than most of us. So the war was 74 to 70. So let's just go ahead and get started and dive right in. So Eboneheart is gonna go ahead and show us the first hit. So very nice 10v11 hit right here. As you can see, the 40-40 heroes. It's going to be a gobo attack with a few baby dragons just to kind of help out. So at the very beginning, starts off with a few minions just to get some percentage, because it's always very important to make sure you have the percentage when it comes to these types of attacks, especially when they give you the town hall. The town hall is pretty close to the front section, but a lot of people fall prey for that, because what happens is some people focus too much on the town hall, get the town hall, but then are missing the percentage. But Eboneheart here knows that that eagle artillery will not activate if there aren't too many troops in the field. So Eboneheart is taking advantage of that and just pretty much getting some percentage off right off the bat, just to make sure that the percentage isn't too much of an issue. And this also helps out to kind of, you know, even out the playing field and make it a lot easier for the gobo to be started. So very patient with the archers, trying to take care of all these free percentages that Eboneheart can get. So it's always very nice to go ahead and scout that portion and make sure you can get what you can before you actually get started. As you can see, 17% is already down. Places one jump spell and then 2 rages, so that the golems and the 5, usually it's 5 bowlers. This time he placed about 6 to 7. So then some bowlers were placed, and notice this funnel that is being created. Both of those golems go straight to the middle, are going to take some hits from the eagle artillery, and then after that sends in the king, the queen, and the rest of the bowlers. And as you can see, the CC is finally coming out, but at this point Ebone already has 45% of this base, sends in some baby dragons in the back end on certain places just to get the extra percentage. And the queen is still standing. There's still the queen ability. There's a few bowlers on the bottom section trying to take out that expo, and the baby dragon at the top section to get some extra percentage. Unfortunately, the queen does get stuck on that wall, but at this point the 2-star is already taken care of, and that is what the most important thing is for Town Hall 10s to do that 10v11 hit. So great job, Eboneheart, on that one. And now we're going to go ahead and show you a hit from Riley, who took down Crusher, pretty much crushed his dreams after getting this solid 2-star. So it was a 50%, but you know, the 2-star is what really matters for the 10v11 hits. So sends in a few loons with hasted loons to take out that archer tower. That way it can be a lot easier for those baby dragons to create this nice little funnel, because that archer tower would just be shooting that thing down. So that's the reason why that is done in the first place. Unfortunately, that baby dragon gets in the way of the air defense, but at least is able to take down a few more things before it actually goes down. So then that funnel is created on that portion, as you can see. And as you can see, guys, the cool thing about the 10v11 hits is that you can pretty much take your time when it comes to trying to figure out what you want to do, or if you want to do like a real long queen walk and things like that, just because you're not going for the 3-stars. So you have more than enough time to try to plan things out. You know, take your sweet time to make sure that, you know, every drop is correct, making sure that all the archers take care of that extra percentage, or the minions, just like Eboneheart showed us here in a little bit. or showed us a few seconds ago. So then after that, you know, very patient when it comes to that stuff. And then the boulders start going going around, some of them at least. So that was pretty unfortunate. The queen, for some reason, didn't want to go to the middle, which is where he really needed her at. And then after that, uses a queen ability because he has to at that point so that the queen doesn't die. And check it out, guys. The king, his king, just tanked right through, took down the town hall with the help of some of those boulders, and was able to take care of the town hall before the king went down. So great job, Riley. Way to secure the 2-star on that hit. Very close, but still secured. So now we're going to go ahead and move down to some dip attacks, guys. And like I said, this might not apply to, you know, CWL kind of attacks, because most people will not have ring bases. They have those anti-3 type of bases, but this would apply more to, you know, those regular players that are doing some wars where you'll see a lot of ring bases, and ring bases can be a pain, especially for Town Hall 10s, just getting the 2-star sometimes. And even though this isn't a Town Hall 10 attacking a Town Hall 10, it's still important to get the concept of this. So the concept here is starting a funnel. So right here, I'm sorry if it's glitching a little bit, guys. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, right here, as you can see, the funnel is being created at this point. Send in a few troops with the queen walk to make sure to get this going. And then after that, sends in a baby dragon to kind of help out with the... well, I'm taking out some of the trash buildings, as you can see, just to kind of keep the queen inside, because that's the most important thing. So then the queen's gonna keep walking down, which is good, because usually it's like, you know, you're gonna go up or down. So then you want to make sure that you go up or down and then choose that position. Sometimes the queen goes the opposite side, so you just gotta, you know, go with the flow. So anyways, but as long as you create the correct funnel and take care of certain structures, that makes a huge difference, guys. So that's the important thing right here. So then notice this part right here. So now sends in the king with a few bowlers at the bottom section, and I don't know why it's freezing a lot, guys. So I'm very sorry about that. So anyways, the queen goes to the middle, which is kind of strange because he was not expecting that, especially because there was no jump spell. So because the funnel is created, as you can tell, once that jump spell is placed, the Valks only have one place to go, and it's straight to the middle, and there is no rage spell required for that middle section because these are single infernals. If they were multi-targeted infernals, then I would definitely consider taking a rage spell for the core. But because this is not the case, it's not too much of a big issue to just send in the Valks by themselves, since they're not going to get a lot of splash damage on them. So as you can tell, the bowlers pretty much walk the whole base all around, and that's the whole purpose of this kind of base, to have your main troops go all the way around and then you don't get a 2-star. But that's the reason why it's important to, you know, do this kind of attack where you send in the bowlers with the king and then send in the Valks straight to the middle. You can also do this as a 10v10. It's a lower chance of getting the 3-star, but you can definitely get that solid 2-star, and that's the important thing, trying to get that 2-star, especially for a lot of the other clans out there who are dealing with a lot of you know, these ring type of bases. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to 16, and as long as, you know, this thing doesn't keep freezing on me. So anyways, guys, we'll go ahead and move on here, and this is going to be your standard Jibo witch attack. I have made an I have made a video on this attack, so if you really want some tips on this one, definitely check it out in the videos in one of my Town Hall 11 playlists, the 3-star playlist that I have created. So anyways, guys, sends in the giants and then sends in the bowlers and the witches. I typically try not to you know, get in through a corner, just because there's a higher chance of your troops going all around, just because of the way the buildings are set up and everything. But luckily for Ghost Rider, it did work pretty well here for him. Almost all the troops were able to go through the middle. So send in a real nice Grand Warden ability, which kept most of the troops alive, so it was pretty awesome there. Placed a real nice rage spell that pretty much took care of the core, and then after that some of the troops start walking all around. As you can tell, they don't even have to deal with double cannon because the boulders in the core section was able to take care of that portion with the boulder bounce. So anyways, the boulders on the, at the 6 o'clock, at 3 o'clock mark are doing some work with the help of the witches, and then there's another flank that's going from 9 going up to 12, and as you can see, the queen's able to take care of this inferno, which would have been a disaster if she couldn't, because then the troops would have gone all the way around and would have probably gotten like a 90-something%, because they would have to try to break through a lot of walls just to get to that inferno. So it's always important to make sure that you can take care of those inferno structures, especially as a Town Hall 11. You have a lot more spells, so it's a lot easier to do these tip attacks because you can take 3 jump spells to pretty much get through the whole base. And then after that, just take 2 rage spells and then a heal spell. I typically try to heal right before getting to the next inferno. So after they've already dealt with the first inferno, I heal closer to the core. And then after that, all my troops are healed right before they get to the next inferno. But anyways, great job, Ghost Rider. Way to kill that base. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to number 17. So 17, uno, dos, tres, he actually got the 3. This is going to be a dip attack. So it's going to start off, this is a kind of attack that I like to do as well. So sends in a few bowlers with witches on each flank and then 1 healer on each side. I typically try to choose where I'm going to put the healers based on splash damage and all that stuff. So it's not always 1 on each side. It just depends on the base, for me at least. And then after that, sends in the rest of the bowlers and witches with the golem straight to the core, which is very nice. And then when it's a soft core, it's usually way easier to deal with these kinds of bases, guys. Just because the queen just can power right through. When it's a lava hound, the queen gets stuck for a little bit. So it's not really too much of an issue, especially for a Town Hall 11 to take these bases down. But it starts becoming an issue with like Town Hall 11 hits and stuff, just because the queen, is so busy trying to take care of the lava hound, and then the eagle is just raining terror on all the troops, so that's where it kind of becomes an issue. But then again, the boulders and everything else, like the king, can just power through the rest of the base. So it just depends on where your troops go for the most part. So it's always important to create that funnel just to make sure that your troops try to get to the core, which is the most important thing. Because once you take care of that core, the outside portion of the base is usually pretty easy. So this base, as you can tell, is pretty much totaled. It is gone to waste. It does not exist any longer. So Team Deso is over. So great 3-star uno on that one. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to another dip attack, and this one's going to be on their number 19. So their number 19, so Evan here is going to go ahead and show us this kind of ring attack base, and this is what I mean, guys. These kinds of bases are set up so that you can get a 1-star, even if you get a high percentage 1-star, but it's going to be harder to get the 3-star, especially for 10v10s. But it is possible, because all you gotta do is usually do a queen walk and then break in at one point. So once you see where the queen goes, or if you create a certain funnel to make sure that the queen walks on the direction that you want her to, that's when it becomes a lot easier. So anyways, guys, as you can see, the queen walk is started. He did not rage those healers, which is where it kind of got a little sketch, because the queen was about to go down. So had to send in another rage spell. If that first rage spell would have been placed a little bit better, then he would have been able to save that spell for later. But as you can tell, guys, this is a Town Hall 11, so there is an extra spell that they can carry, which makes a huge difference. So anyways, guys, as you can see, the queen is walking through one section, and guess what? He is saving some 5 wall breakers to break through to get the king and the bowlers to go help the queen create this funnel. You'll see what I mean here in a bit. So the queen's already created one funnel. So the golem is sent at the 12 o'clock section with a few wall breakers and the king, as you can see. The king unfortunately goes around. It's not going to be too much of an issue because you just mainly want to make sure that that funnel is created. Luckily, these bowlers are raged up, so they just do so much work when they're raged up. They're creating that nice funnel. They're going to have to deal with that king, but that king gets taken care of pretty quickly. And then the rest of the bowlers are finally able to break through that wall and then take care of some of the structures. So then, look at this, guys. The Valks have one pathway to go through, and guess where it is? Straight to the town hall. So this is what I mean. So at this point, Even does have to use a rage spell because he's dealing with 2 multi-infernos, but look at how fast those Valks demolish that core. So it's always important to, create that funnel with the Queen Walk and then send in the Golem and the King either on the other side, or you can even send them through in the same section once they've created a big enough funnel. And then after that, once there's not really any other spot for the Valkyries to go through, you place a jump spell and then place 1 Valk to make sure that that Valk goes to the Town Hall. After you do that and you make sure that they do go to the Town Hall, then you can place the rest and place a rage spell, especially if it's multi-infernos. So great job, Evan. Way to show us how to deal with those ring bases. Now we're going to go ahead and show you number 20. So it's going to be King Kev, who's going to take care of gorillas. So anyways, guys, this is going to be one of those cool attacks, that's been out there for a while. A newer attack for sure. So it's going to be a mass baby dragon with a few lava hounds and then some loons in the back portion. Sends in the heroes in the middle. I'm not sure why he did that part. Usually you want to send in the heroes like on either side or both sides, just to kind of help with the funneling. Because they're not really doing much at that point. As you can see, they're just kind of hitting walls because the troops have already taken care of those portions, so there's not really much for the heroes to do at that point. It'd be better if you send them on one side, like for instance, if you send them right here where the gold mines are at, they can keep walking down and create a nice little pathway for the baby dragons to take care of that. So that was a little interesting, but this attack is pretty powerful, guys. If you haven't tried it before, definitely give it a try. I believe it was Powerbang who showed it with one of his 11s who did it. So anyways, guys, this attack is very strong. Like I said, the queen is able to survive, which is important. As you can see, there's this big flock of baby dragons. Even though there is an air defense in the middle, it's not going to be too much of an issue because he still has a bunch of baby dragons left. I typically try to save a few loons if possible to try to get rid of those air defenses because they can be pesky, especially when there's a bunch of buildings that are surrounding that air defense, like in this case. Luckily, the queen is going to be able to help out with this portion right here. Is going to be able to start weakening up this air defense and thus take it down. So that is a huge difference because look at this, guys. That baby dragon went down. The king was able to survive, which was nice because as you can see, it was a very close attack. But I think if you would have used the king and the queen to funnel, as far as like sending him on the side and stuff, it would have been an easier 3-star with a lot more baby dragons left. So anyways, great job King Kev on that attack. So that was their number 20. So now we're going to move on to 21. We're starting to get closer to the end of this video, guys. It is a pretty long one, but it's just one of those videos where you can see a big variety of attacks. So it definitely helps out just to check them out and see what you can use for dipping attacks, because a lot of there isn't really too many videos out there for different dipping strategies or like more common bases like these. So it's important to be able to know how to take care of these ring type kind of bases, or these weird bases that a lot of people do use but don't really talk about too much, just because there isn't too much 11v10 action in videos. So anyways, guys, Chris is able to do this bow witch attack pretty much with some giants and just takes care of this core so fast. It pretty much went down so quickly. I don't even know what happened, guys. As I was explaining that other part, he pretty much took care of that core so quickly. So anyways, the core is taken care of, as you can tell. And then there's still a flank on both sides, guys. The flank is always very important because they're taking care of the outer defenses over here. You know what I mean? Taking care of those outer defenses while the core is working the middle, which makes cleanup a lot easier, guys. Especially because if you were to send all of your troops straight to the middle and they all die because of the big bombs, there's just going to be so many things that they have to deal with and have to go through the whole base, and so many wall structures that they have to try to get through. So it makes it a lot easier to have that nice flank that powers through and is able to take care of the outer portions. So like I said, guys, I have made a video on this specific attack, so if you want to check it out, definitely do so. And then this one, guys, is going to be the final hit, number 22. So Eboneheart is going to be showing us a 10v10. And it's going to be pretty awesome, guys. So it is a ring type base. And this is what I mean, guys. It's important to know how to funnel this portion. So out of all attacks, this is the go-to one, especially those Town Hall 10s that have been struggling with these type of bases. Very important to check this out. So anyways, sends in the baby dragon to create that nice funnel to make sure that the queen walks at the bottom section. The baby dragon unfortunately did not take care of that wizard tower, but it's pretty much so weak at this point that it's not going to do much. So sends in a hog rider to pull the troops, and then sends a nice little poison that's going to take care of the king, which is going to slow him down, and it's going to take care of these baby dragons, because baby dragons, if they're not poisoned, guys, it's pretty much asking for trouble, especially with those loons that are in the back just slowly coming over. And then as the queen is trying to take care of the baby dragons, the loons just drop a big bomb and boom, everything dies. You do not want that to happen. So anyways, guys, as you can tell, the baby dragon is taking care of that wizard tower at the bottom, and then he sends in the king with the bowlers and has more bowlers in the CC, and then uses a nice little pretty much rage spell that just took care of everything over there in that section. It's creating a nice funnel and sends in the valk straight to the middle, guys. Waited a little bit just to make sure that those valks go to the middle, and look at this, guys. They're going to take care of that town hall, go straight to the second inferno, take care of that. They're going to run right out, go for the queen, and then they're going to keep walking with the king and the bowlers, guys, while the queen is walking in the bottom section. So that is how you do it. That is how you take care of those ring bases. It's always important, like I said, to be patient with the queen walk so that they can create one funnel from one side and then send in the king with the bowlers on the other side. That way there's only one section for those Valkyries to go to. So anyways, guys, as this attack is wrapping up, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I am always ready to prepare some more new content for you guys, and once CWO next season starts up, I will definitely give you a full season of videos, because this last season I wasn't able to give you the full CWO experience just because I wasn't the official YouTuber since the beginning. So anyways, guys, thanks for joining in. This is DJClanSmasher, and I'll see you guys next time. So again, CWO did destroy this clan, and the final score, like I said, was 74-70. So remember, guys, keep calm and clash on.